Ken, you're okay with that?
Testing. Would those in the internet world please signal to Town Clerk Reevy that you can hear us?
Speak one of them, please.
I can hear you.
Everyone can hear us out there? The back of the room? Very good. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilwoman Hayner. Councilman Kitchen. Councilman Secreto. Councilman Van Cleek is excused. Supervisor Quigley.
Here. Thank you very much and welcome to the Town of Ulstertown Board Meeting for Thursday, March 16th, 2023. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? I have a late motion to approve the purchase of electric. And I will add it to the bottom of new business. Are there any individuals here tonight who would like to speak to agenda items? Ms. Hartman.
Thank you, Susan. So after we left here, after the last meeting, we were all kind of a little confused about the hybrid discussion that happened last week and with regards to the police vehicles. And we kind of felt like you were throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I was prepared to come in here all indignant and outraged, but I'm not, because I did a little research and I talked to our county sheriff, who's also having trouble with the EVs and having a lack of infrastructure to keep the vehicles charged. And he explained a lot to me about how police vehicles, they're not used like everyday vehicles. And so there are real problems with them. So, but one thing he did explain, the county does have a policy of that the fleet he has to be 30% EV or hybrid. And so he accomplishes that by having administrator vehicles, his own vehicle, because he'd sit outside murder scenes for 18 hours at a stretch where, you know, he would need a gas vehicle. So he achieves that, completing that requirement by utilizing the vehicles in other ways. So that's all I would like to say to you all today. If we're going to not have them as police vehicles, can we consider, and maybe you're doing this, so it might be a moot point, but other vehicles like our building inspector, the chief maybe perhaps doesn't need a gas vehicle, but he could use an EV. And we can at least accomplish something of going green while we all catch up with this infrastructure.
Thank you very
So,
much.
thanks.
Any additional comments? In your package tonight are the minutes for the February 2nd Town Board Workshop and the February 16th Town Board Meeting. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented? Is there any discussion on the minutes presented? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are adopted. Communications?
Yes, I have one letter received March 13th, 2023 from the New York State Department of Transportation. It reads, Dear Supervisor Quigley, this is to inform the town of Ulster that the New York State Department of Transportation plans to resurface a portion of Route 28. The project will begin east of the intersection with Hurley Mountain Road. Paving will continue west and through the towns of Ulster and Kingston, ending just west of Waconk Road. I have a location map, which I will put on our town website under tonight's meeting communications. And it says the project will begin in 2023. Milling the existing roadway surface, resurfacing with a single course of asphalt overlay. And it will be constructed during daytime hours.
Thank you. Ms. Hayner for the abstract of claims. May I have a motion to accept the abstract as presented? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstract is adopted. Committee reports from the buildings and grounds, please. Have to announce the highway department's got to clear the old property at Fording Road.
The old water department property over on Fording Place. Brush is being was started on Monday. Brush is being removed. Tree trunks and concrete slab and making way for a parking lot. Correct? Me if I'm wrong. For the additional space for the sports that take place over at the Miller and Crosby Elementary Schools. It's going to eliminate some of that traffic, hopefully, on both sides of the road and give people more safer passage when walking to these sporting events. I'm also in conversations with my co-chairman and a couple other employees here about maybe doing some facelifting type things to our town interior of the town hall. As you can see in here, we have new tracks and new lighting and new tiles, and maybe looking to do a couple things over different phases and try to get some quotes. Other than that, we have nothing else to report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions on the buildings and grounds report? Very good.
I just want to add that the parking lot will be gravel. And there will be shrubs planted.
Don't forget the trees. Ms. Reevy, is there anything you wish to call to our attention that is in the town clerk's report for the month of February? In your book is the town clerk's report for the month of February for presentation and acceptance. May I have a motion accepting the report? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item, Ms. Reeby? This is standard operating procedure for the last whatever, since the Board of Elections have taken responsibility for the board, for running of the elections. So may I have a motion to authorize the town clerk to sign said agreement? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Secreto, as personnel.
Personnel. I have some seasonal hires here that our superintendent of highways would like to hire. I'm going to read 5 of them together and 1 separate. I'll read their names off and then I'll read the personnel form, which is attached to their names. Ariza Cafaldo, Jacob Freer, Vincent Perpetua, Kelsey Kohler. Let's see, Riley Dockenhausen. That's the 5. These will be seasonal employees for the highway department. There'll be no civil service. It's not a union position. It's not under contract. It's not covered by insurance. Wage will be $15 an hour. The start date for these 5 will be 06/26/2023. And this comes at the request of Frank Petromal, our highway superintendent. And I ask a motion to hire these 5 for seasonal work for the highway.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
This will be a seasonal laborer too. Employee's name is John Petromal, comes under the highway department. It also is non-union, non-competitive. It's not covered by insurance. His wage will be $20 an hour. Start date is 04/15/2023. Also at the request of our highway superintendent, Frank Petromal, and I make a motion to hire Johnny Petromal to the highway for a seasonal labor.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Petromal, the next 4 items are yours. Let me call for the motion on the first item. So I'm going to ask for a motion to authorize the highway superintendent to purchase 1 John Deere 5075 M tractor from Deere, New York State OGS. Bid in the amount of $56,158.52 with delivery expected to be within the next 12 months. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to authorize the highway superintendent to purchase 1 Alamo Interstator mower attachment and installation for the John Deere 5075 tractor from United AG and Turf Keel Equipment through Sourcewell Contract 00821 in the amount of $45,126.25. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Before we move to the next item, it should be noted, current tractor is 2009. So it's been in service 13 years. I would hope we get at least the same amount of time out of the next new acquisition. Go ahead. So as to background, the town of Ulster had purchased in 2015 three Ford pickup trucks of a similar size and capacity. We blew a motor on the first one, the second one, the motor's going. It seems like all three trucks have the same motor in it. And Ford is aware that the trucks have problems with those series motors. So we are in a situation that we will not be able to provide transportation to our workers this summer unless we put trucks into service now. So may I have a motion on the first truck, please? Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next one, Mr. Petромall. May I have a motion, please? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Petромall. Chief Berardi, it's now your turn. That's why I'm reading the motion. So we have tonight a motion to authorize the police chief to purchase two 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit patrol vehicles under New York State contract PC 69047 SB from Bagnell Motors for $39,946 each. These two vehicles are slated to replace the two hybrids that we are experiencing problems with that are in our fleet. And the expected delivery of these vehicles will be sometime within the next year. Hopefully 3 months. So may I have a motion? I have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Berardi. The next item on our agenda is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign the municipal agreement by and between the city of Kingston and the town of Ulster for the treatment of sewage from the Washington Avenue Sewer District. The sewer district was created in 2003, 2004, put into service in 2006 to serve the commercial area by the traffic circle. When Rupco proposed their project and the county offered to finance the extension of the sewer agreement, Rupco became concerned about the commercial billing rate for the processing of sewage. Rupco approached the city of Kingston, and the city of Kingston consented to modifying their agreement with the town of Ulster to include a residential billing rate, which is the same billing rate as the Spring Lake Sewer District is being operated under. So tonight, I ask for a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the revised sewer agreement. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a resolution presented to the town board modifying the Town of Ulster 2023 fee schedule to provide for a new billing rate for residential users in the Washington Avenue Sewer District based upon the just ratified contract. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the out-of-district sewer use agreement for properties on Sandy Road. This agreement was presented to the town board at the last meeting and affects two houses that are on Sandy Road where there were septic failures. They were adjacent to a manhole, and the sewer department connected them to the sewer district through that manhole. They were not originally included in the sewer district because they didn't need it because they had a functioning septic system. May I have a motion? Any discussion? Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Reby, the last item?
So last year in July, the town board passed a resolution to just as almost identical to the one that you see tonight on the agenda, to classify the town of Ulster from a second-class town to a town of the first class. At the conclusion, as if this resolution is passed, I will send the resolution along with forms to our representatives in the Senate and Assembly to be presented to the state legislature. Towns of the first class in New York State are all towns in Westchester County, all towns that have a population of 10,000 residents or more, except for, I believe it's Broome County, Suffolk County, and Town of Potsdam and Town of Ulster. Towns of the first class are given more powers, obligations, and privileges than towns of the second class. This did not come to fruition last year. It just with changes of people in political offices. That's the only reason. So we're presenting it again this year to both Senator Hinchey and Assemblywoman Shrestha. Okay.
Thank you. This matter has been before the town board several times over the last 2 years. Basically, it is a correction of a home rule request that the Town of Ulster Town Board made in the early 1970s, where as the result of the annual census, the town would have been automatically reclassified as a town of the first class. The powers that be at that point in time made a request of our assembly person, who I happen to believe might have been the father to the current state senator. And they made a request to have the town of Ulster continue as a town of the second class. Our correction here, our request here tonight is merely to properly reclassify the town as it should be under state law. I have a motion to accept the resolution as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The last item is the item that I added. It is a motion to authorize the supervisor to enter into a contract to purchase electricity for the term 4/1/23 to 3/31/25. It is a 2-year contract, fixed price through the New York Municipal Energy Program administered by Good Energy. May I have a motion to authorize? Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our scheduled agenda for tonight. It is at this point that I open the floor for public comment for any matter that any resident, or for that matter, anyone here in this room or on Zoom wishes to address the board on.
we'll take the Zoom call first.
Hello. My name's Keith Gargi, 9 Corwin Place, Lake Katrine. I have been watching the archives on YouTube, so thank you for that, because I can't make it out everywhere. I was just wanted to ask the board to be mindful for audio purposes if they could have all speakers come to the microphone, because I am not able to hear, I believe it was the highway superintendent and the police chief. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any comments from anyone here tonight? Mr. Obajeski?
Good evening Supervisor Quigley and members of the town board. I'm before you tonight to request your consideration of a new local law that will protect residents from unwarranted video surveillance. I'm not here to impugn the intent of one neighbor over another who dispute cameras. However, one aspect of the dispute may rise to a violation of a New York state law that pertains to the residential use of security or surveillance cameras. The New York State Civil Rights Law, Section 52-A, Chapter 6, Article 5, addresses unwarranted video imaging of residential premises. It is called the Backyard Surveillance Law that addresses videotaping or taking moving video images of recreational activities which occur in the backyard. In backyard, the law provides an expanded definition of a residential real property without written consent thereto of such owner and or tenant to harass, annoy, or alarm. A neighbor on the receiving end of camera surveillance has expressed many times to me and apparently to officials of our town, feelings of alarm, annoyance, and harassment. My response has been until now, quote, if town officials conclude that there is nothing they can do to help you, I cannot solve your problem. You may have to take your neighbor to civil court for a resolution. This neighbor claims a lack of means to pursue such civil court action. As far as I know, there is no law within our town code that addresses video surveillance of others' property or personal privacy outside and inside their homes, irrespective of intent. Recently, the complainant neighbor asked me to look at the cameras in question, one panning her entire backyard, another pointing to her living room, and a third pointing to her upstairs bedroom. The one I witnessed in operation on March 14th at about 7:20 p.m. was motion activated, resulting in a very bright light that shone on most of the backyard. That camera looks like a 180-degree unit positioned above the privacy fence, about 12 feet above the ground. If the camera picks up the lighted area, the complainant neighbor would have no privacy whatsoever in her backyard. I did not witness the other two cameras recording in a recording mode. I'm recommending that the town board consider a town law that protects its citizens from uninvited and unwelcome video surveillance by private cameras of any sort, including drones, without explicit permission of a property owner. Law enforcement and other public purpose video recording would be excluded, of course. Town of Ulster residents should not be required to take their neighbors to court when a simple local law would suffice. We have laws that regulate noise, dogs, chickens, swimming pools, ATVs, littering, garbage, burning, behavior at public meetings, and much more. We should also protect our residents from unwarranted video surveillance. I'm not proposing the elimination of ring-type camera-enhanced doorbells or external cameras that pan one's driveway, sidewalk, and yards. A family's security interests should be respected, but not at the expense of another's privacy. Thank you for your time and consideration of this request.
Thank you, Mr. Obajeski. Mr. Kovacs, I will send you a copy of this tomorrow via email. Ms. Hartman?
I was asked to read this by Vicky Lucarini from 170 Ledge Road, as she's not feeling well and couldn't be here tonight. Good evening Supervisor Quigley and Town Board members. My name is Vicky Lucarini of 170 Ledge Road. I too support the town looking into creating and adopting a town law relating to the violation of privacy and harassment by a person or group through video surveillance equipment such as cameras, drones, or any other video surveillance devices. These devices have been widely available to everyone and are subject to abuse. Because of this, anyone who lives anywhere can be subjected to the loss of privacy and harassment through these devices. No one should have the right to keep a watch over someone or someone else's residential property without their consent. After all, our home and property is where we not only live and raise our families, but a place where we seek refuge and rest. A place where we feel safe without intrusion. Being under surveillance destroys this atmosphere and feelings. Having a lack of privacy and feeling of harassment causes increased stress and anxiety. According to the Mayo Clinic, common acute effects of stress and anxiety are headache, chest pain, fatigue, stomach upset, and sleep problems, to name a few. Long-term effects are high blood pressure, heart disease, increased weight, and diabetes, to name a few. I mention this to highlight the seriousness of the situation. We all know the feeling after a long, hard day at work or any other activity. What a pleasure it is to be in the peace and quiet and the privacy of our home. Let us safeguard this for everyone in our town.
Thank you. Are there any other individuals here tonight who would like to make a statement? Are there any other individuals here tonight or on Zoom who would like to make a statement? Do I have a second? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, and we will see you in April.